Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm sitting here, relaxing, getting a soak in, and I had to come to you guys. I was embarrassed. I got a 1-star review on the Better Business Bureau, so we're gonna talk about that in today's video. It's coming up next. All right, guys, so when I wake up in the morning and the Better Business Bureau emails me, usually I get to look forward to some wonderful feedback from somebody that's having a terrific experience in transforming their behavior and following a clear-cut roadmap to improving their finances. That's basically the gist. We have a perfect rating there up until now. For whatever reason, it doesn't look like this Better Business Bureau posting actually published, so I'm coming to you with total transparency. I want to be vulnerable to your feedback, and I want to just basically walk you through what happened here and see if you support how we handled it, or if you think that there would have been a better way to go about it. Now, I apologize, it's a windy day as usual out here in Chaffee County, so hopefully the audio isn't going to be too bad for you. All right, so forgive my reading, it's not easy. I have something called photophobia, which is sensitivity to light. Should probably leave the sunglasses on, but we're gonna give this a stab. All right, so this was the review. When I opened up my email that morning and I head over to the Better Business Bureau, this was back on April 3rd, this is what I read. Some red flags. Their flagship consulting is based around making lump sum payments towards your debt, even when using higher interest credit lines to make those lump sum payments. Mathematically, you can never pay off debt quicker using a higher interest rate, even if it's from a revolving line of credit. Additionally, the CEO committed to working with me directly if I signed up that day. After I signed the contract, he somehow had too many conflicts and never met with me. They did not provide the value I was expecting for the fees they charge. Now, this individual has been in coaching now for roughly 6 months. Let's call it 7 months. This was my response, and then we're gonna kind of pick through this and give you some of my thoughts, and then I wanna ask for your comments below. See if I could have dealt with this any better. All right, so this was my response. I sent this email just a couple nights ago. I have reached out via phone calls. I've reached out via email. This person is actually still in coaching, even though we offered to let them out. And so I do have some updates as to kind of where his mindset is at this point too. But this was my email response after not getting any follow-up from him. Hi, and I'm gonna block names. I wanna create anonymity here. I hope all has been well, friend. Sorry for the late night email. I'm wrapping up after a busy day and your status remains a priority. Thanks in advance for reading my long update. As you know, I've reached out several times now regarding your 1-star review on April 3rd. But having not heard back, the matter is still considered unresolved. I wanted to reach out one more time to at least give you an email update. Although he and Jen are obviously on leave for the birth of their new son, any minute now, congratulations, Joe and Jen. I'm so stoked for you guys. Joe and I found a window to discuss the specifics of your call together days ago. As you likely know, our reputation isn't an accident. It requires very hard work to maintain, hence my ongoing follow-up regarding your concerns, as well as our company meetings to discuss them. If you have looked into any of the other handful of bad reviews, you'll see that unresolved dissatisfaction doesn't exactly slide by with us. You guys can see that on Yelp. We have a ton of amazing reviews on Yelp. Almost a perfect rating if you count all the non-recommended that Yelp scams us out of. Make sure you check out our Yelp is a scam video. But you'll see how we deal with most of these unresolved matters. We want to get it fixed, and I think that's doable. I'm maybe ignorant enough to believe that. Now, according to Joe, he addressed your feedback during your recent session, and from his perspective, you described your coaching experience with him positively. His words were, you definitely felt you were better off having his coaching versus not. Obviously, a negative online review contradicting this leaves us in a confusing situation. I am confused, I'll admit. But I look at it as a learning opportunity more than anything, and an opportunity to beg for a chance to resolve it. In 20 years, those attempts have never failed me when accepted. I will admit this is the first time I've ever had to beg for an opportunity to resolve an unresolved matter via YouTube video, so this is certainly new for me. According to Joe, your main disappointments were twofold. Number one, you expected me to be present during your initial sessions, and number two, you feel my video content isn't always the direction that you feel is best. And obviously you stated that in your review, so that seems to be the case here. I would love further details on each which is obviously why I've reached out so many times. Now, while I would prefer to get your perspective firsthand, allow me to offer my viewpoints while I wait for your eventual response, which I'm optimistic enough to think is coming. All right, number one, and most importantly, you are absolutely right. I blew it. We made every effort to expand our values by bringing in another expert, another partner in the business, and he's an expert in business and in real estate investing. One of the things I've always liked about coaching specifically as a solution versus product programs, courses, is that it's easy to continually grow. We can keep making it better and better, which we've done every year for the last 12 years. One of the things that we've felt capable of for a long time is to keep our pricing similar while still increasing the focus on providing direct coaching on assets and income growth too, not just the credit maximization and debts focus. And this has been super popular. But I fully expected that I would need to directly participate in the first few sessions in order to make sure Joe, who is a new partner, was delivering to our specific standards. Because this was, again, 9 months ago now. What I didn't expect was for Joe to be so good so fast, or that he would reinvent our entire process. He's a superstar. And aside from you, there's only been one other person who has ever expressed any criticism while working with him over the past 9 months. He's been a coach for nearly 20 years after all. In fact, the latest video with Brix in it says it all. I'll put the link in the description on that. Even though he is an owner of VIP, Joe's vast experience and success exceeded our expectations by far. But none of that does matter. I'm embarrassed to admit that I definitely fell short of my promise with you, which was to spend the first few sessions with you. I apologize profusely for that. I'd appreciate a conversation in order to resolve this. I will admit that I don't feel my early participation would have changed your outcome in any way. Yet the fact is I promised it nonetheless, and to underdeliver was totally unacceptable, and I'm sorry. According to Joe, you were offered the option of continuing your coaching, and you stated that you felt you were better off with the coaching than without. Yet, you also stated that you prefer not to change your review. Again, confusing. This should be adequate enough for us, and yet I'm going to take it a step further and refund your full coaching and part ways amicably if you remain unsatisfied after seeing this video. It's no secret that we value our values. So this matter is going to need to be resolved. The good news is this: I am far more valuable to you now that you have an early foundation of a plan established. And I'd like to make a deal if you are willing. I'm going to agree to do an unlimited length one-on-one phone coaching session based on where you are right now in your current circumstances. It'll have to be on a Sunday because I'll go as long as necessary. Until, of course, you admit that the call made up for my transgressions here. And I'm asking if you would accept my personal challenge to make up for your dissatisfaction so far. Go ahead and email me, or you can call me back, provided my direct number, in order to collaborate on the matter ASAP. Now, should you decide to continue or discontinue, I will be making an educational video about this situation either way, while protecting your identity, of course. I look forward to hearing back. And that's exactly what I was hoping for by filling you guys in on this. Number one, I want to show that we are human here. Got to put these back on, guys. I'm sorry. I know it's kind of douchey. We are human. We can't satisfy everybody, but we go way out of our way to prevent these types of conversations from happening. I don't know of any other firms that offer the type of intensive long-term partnerships for the price tag that we charge on a one-on-one level to help people advance their decision making. I don't know of it. The other coaching programs that are available in this space that even remotely resemble us cost somewhere closer to $50,000 or more, and it's for a shorter period of time. We coach for 30 months on a one-on-one level. Frankly, it's pretty stupid. The profit margin for us is very, very small, guys. I do not in any way, shape, or form feel like I owe an apology for what we do and what we charge for it. In fact, it should cost a lot more than it does. Number two, we do everything that we can to make situations right. Again, read our Yelp reviews. Go in and re-listen to this video and decide for yourself. I mean, look, I'm willing to give somebody their entire money back even though they don't qualify. That's outside of the contract guidelines. I'm here on YouTube sharing this situation, even though the actual review doesn't even show up publicly. I like to be an upfront person, and I like to be a communicator. Where I get frustrated in this specific situation and would like to offer my own feedback in return is that people who suck at communicating generally don't make it very far in business. So if you're not willing to speak up and even just simply voice frustration, you can be frustrated, that's allowed. Share your feelings. But if you're unable to get in touch with those feelings and actually have conversations with people, I think that everything in your life will be more difficult. Every relationship in your life will be more difficult. Every single one. And so this was something that Kellyanne and I had to work hard on too, because I like to talk about things. If somebody's upset, let's get on the phone and let's hash it out and get it resolved. And I will always make sure that I do what is right. So anyways, guys, hopefully this video is helpful. I would love your feedback below. What should we have done here? Please, is there something else that maybe we could have done? I did blow it. I should have participated in those first few calls. At a bare minimum, I needed to actually make a phone call and say, hey, you know, this is, in my opinion, something that isn't necessarily going to advance you further. This dude has it. He's better with you than I am with you. And I didn't do that. And so this is my fault. I fully recognize it. I apologize to you. As you know, there's nothing I can do to take it back other than try and fix it now, okay? All right, so as far as the other comment that was made, I'd like to address that. There's no way to pay off debt more quickly using higher interest than lower. I can mathematically prove that to you, and I already have that example ready. It's illustrated for you. Unfortunately, again, we haven't been able to link up with you. It doesn't matter. If your viewpoint of this coaching is simply, hey, there's a faster way to pay off debt by $1,000 more over the next 5 years, then you have missed the point of this entire channel. The point of this channel and the direction that our focus is going more and more towards is how to create extreme wealth. I couldn't care less about $1,000, you know, disagreement over a 5-year period of time. The fact that you're even wanting to spend time disagreeing about that is a waste. And if I can help coach you in any way, shape, or form, it's to spend your time not wasting it on hundreds and on thousands. Let's spend our time investing it into figuring out solutions for tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars over that same 5-year period. And because that's been my outlook in business over the past many years, I am a multi-7-figure earner. And it's just because I don't sweat the small stuff. Stop sweating the small stuff. That is an engineering mentality. I'm a highly analytical person as well. I've always gotten along well with engineers. I have had a ton of engineers who have signed up for this coaching. And it's because we like the numbers. But the moment I stopped pissing and moaning about how to get a $200 improvement to my game plan over 5 years and started focusing that same effort on how do I get a $200 per day improvement to my bottom line, that's when everything changed. So that is my very, very first step of getting back involved in your coaching, my friend. Hopefully that helps you out to some extent moving forward. But that is the general philosophy of this channel, folks, is let's figure out the big stuff and not sweat the small stuff, and it'll work. It'll work with consistency and patience. All right, guys. Hey, I look forward to our next video. Thanks for hanging in there with me with this bad audio. I know it's probably been a little rough at times. Make sure you check out the videos in the description below and get that one free coaching session if you're at $500 or more in cash flow. That's at freecoachingcalendar.com. We'll see you on the next video. Until then, make it a great day today, and peace.